Ain't that a man?
All right, welcome to the show. Tonight we're talking about men. You can hear some echo. I don't know if you can hear this. These are my headphones here. See, I'm talking and you're hearing an echo. Ooh, it's creepy, right? So, here we are again in beautiful Studio 4. We're going to talk about men. There's something really wrong with men. Men have completely lost, what's left of their gray matter, I would say. It turns into a really bad thing. You have what I would have to term the death of men, the death of men, the death of man. Not man as in mankind, but man as in men. So the death of men, and maybe next time we'll talk about the death of women. Either way, what we're looking at is the ripping apart of the classifications of gender, male and female roles. But what it is for me as a man experiencing it myself, at least looking at other men out there, I'm seeing that their obsessions have turned into pathological conditions. I think mainly because I'm seeing maybe a good split, a 50% split between men that are into certain things that are being marketed to them, and then other men who just kind of turn and look the other way. I remember in a previous episode I discussed the Big Bang Theory and how the writers seem to really hate the characters, and what they hate most. I mean, even though I saw a rather hilarious video on YouTube about how the Big Bang Theory is actually a misogynist fantasy about women or something like that. Women aren't into comic books. Women aren't into science fiction movies. Women are, as represented by Kaylee Cuoco's character Penny, interested only in drinking, shopping, and their fingernails, or something along those lines. Whatever it is, it's beauty related. It's a beauty myth. I forgot who that was. Who was that? Naomi Wolf wrote that. Anyway, she was a very, very smart feminist until she went completely out of her mind. So, man, whatever it is. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the surge of this terminology. A place where men go to, I guess, be men, whatever that is. They're in a nice, comfortable, upholstered armchair with video games and a mini fridge filled with snacks and beer. And maybe they have a gun collection or something like that. Maybe they have posters of models in bikinis. And it's a place where they go to hide, and it's called a man cave. This is now the philosophy, is a man cave. And they're calling it a cave because they want to, I guess, appeal. They want marketers, developers, research, media. They want to appeal to that Neanderthal man, the one who had a club and would bash his woman over the head and then drag her into his cave and quite possibly rape her. I don't know where that comes up, but that's where it leads. It doesn't matter where it starts. It only matters where it leads. And it leads to rape, animal rape, something like that. The animal kingdom. Men are animals, therefore they rape. They eat flesh. They dress in skins and furs. And women are vegetarian. They don't rape, even though they do. But men are the monsters. Men are the animals. And this is what we're being taught. And we're going along with this because the man has been castrated. He's been neutered in some way. So you can pacify the man with sports, cars, guns, and pornography. And booze also. We'll get to the booze in a minute. But this is part of this never-ending quest to castrate the man, because the man is so frightened now. The man is completely frightened. His world is being taken over. Feminism, the fourth wave of feminism, which I guess I'll be talking about next time. The fourth wave of feminism has become offensive, not defensive. They're not defending their values, if there are any to defend. They're actively hostile actively aggressive toward anything that isn't a woman. Very much in the way that Black Lives Matter kind of came up. There now, instead of this passive resistance that people like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and people like that openly practiced, now it's full on aggression. It's full on resistance. It's Antifa. It's everything along those lines. So the common understanding that might have evolved over 40 or 50 years, or at least since women got the vote, or at least understood the obligations that went along with being with voting, and how the rules were changed to accommodate women. Back in the old days, when you voted, when you were a citizen and you voted, you had to take up a lot of responsibilities that went hand in hand with the privilege of voting, and it is a privilege. Voting is a privilege because it's something that's extremely important. A right is something that can be handed down to whole masses of people, but a privilege is that afforded to the few who understand the responsibility of that privilege, because a privilege is a responsibility in and of itself, and has nothing to do with white privilege or male privilege or whatever else. But an uneasy truce was in effect between men and women for 40, 50 years, and now it's completely gone out the window. And we have lawmakers. This is a problem here, because I don't like having laws enacted. We have lawmakers who are contemplating whether or not even looking at a woman is not considered some form of sexual assault now. In England, they want to make catcalling, or I forget what they call it, catcalling or wolf whistling, some kind of a felony. It's so strange. I've been catcalled in my day. I've been hit on rather aggressively by women and by men. Never considered it a form of assault. I don't mind being sized up as a piece of meat. Check this out, ladies. Sorry, I'm taking. Only with myself, but I have a wedding ring too. Single men put a ring on it, to quote Queen Bee. Anyway, so we have, so now men are under siege, and it's a crime to be a man. I mean, Bill Maher said that in his 2004 special. This is back when Bill Maher made sense. 2004 special, Victory Begins at Home. He said that the feminine values are now the values of this country. And I think what it had to do with was somehow this distorted view that women embrace monogamy, and that women that whatever women were at the time in 2004, the candidates for the presidential election were running on integrity more than anything else, and apparently women are all about integrity. I don't really believe this for a second. Women are just as polygamous. Women are just as needy, clutchy, graspy. Women will grope you. I have a very funny story about that, actually. I was at a Chinese buffet. Everyone who knows me knows this story, but I was at the Chinese buffet getting... at the end of the feast, they have an ice cream machine. So you go up to the ice cream machine, and you're giving yourself a bowl or a cone of nice soft serve ice cream. And there were these... okay, well, first off, I feel a pinch. I feel 2 pinches on my posterior while I'm over there getting my ice cream. I turn around. There's 2 giggling Asian girls. And they're looking up at me. 2 giggling Asian girls. They couldn't have been 10 years old, and they were giggling. They just pinched my ass. Maybe we should outlaw little Asian girls. How about that? How does that make you feel? Anyway, back to the man cave. The man cave philosophy is one where the man has to go alone, be by himself, or be with his bros, if you will. And you got your beer, and you're looking at your porno films, I guess. You're sampling the many magazines about cars. These are just things I don't respond to cars. I don't really care about cars. I can identify cars from maybe 30 years ago. I can't really identify them anymore. All cars look the same now. Okay, they all look the same. There's no status in any of it. Your Mustang once in a while will come out there. The new GT, which costs an enormous amount of money, and Ford insists that you do not try to resell, which is just, get a fucking life. It's my money, it's my car, I'll do what I want with it. I would hang a sign on a Mustang GT that says, like new, masturbated in only once. I wonder if that reduces the property value. And then we get into products. There are products. Adam Carolla, who is, great podcaster, humorist, if you will, and makes occasional appearances on Family Guy as Death. Jimmy Kimmel's writer on the Oscars and a collaborator on The Man Show. Again, The Man Show. Moo, men. Basically women running around in bikinis with enormous breasts and asses and all that stuff. And he's one of these guys. He's one of these guys who's living a stunted, arrested adolescence because he grew up poor, like me. But then as soon as he became wealthy, started indulging in all those activities that he always wanted to do. So he is a 50-year-old guy who tools around in cars and does a lot of, building or whatever. He's like Tim Allen or something like that in that way. But a lot of times Tim Allen was mocking this obsession that men have for like wanting to build things or drive around in cars. Jay Leno is another one too. Anyway, Adam Carolla markets this stuff, this alcoholic beverage for recreational use, of course, called Mangria. Okay, and I guess the idea is to take sangria, which is a femi drink, because I know my wife enjoys sangria. She talks about it. It's something that requires a little bit of preparation. It's like fruit mixed in with wine or something like that. It's overly complicated. Give me a beer or a glass of wine any day. Anyway, Carolla has taken the sangria and called it Mangria. So it's like you can be a man and enjoy sangria. But the only way you're going to enjoy it is if I call it Mangria. Mangria. Anyway, this contributes to the death of men because I don't want to be separated. I'm not worried about my masculinity. I don't need anything to prove to others that I'm a man or prove to myself that I'm a man, damn it. The pee-pee, that helps. That goes a long way. The hair everywhere. Although I think I have just enough. I have friends who are completely hairy. And you can feel it when you give them a hug. Give them a nice New Year's Eve hug or something, and you can feel that fur just popping up. They're like shaved wolves, these guys. That's not any indication of men either, the level of testosterone in your skin. How deep your voice is. My voice can go really high, by the way, and I don't really think, and I can do a dead-on kind of flaming stereotypical homosexual person because I'm talking like that, and I'm speaking with a lisp, and I really love those shoes, the way they go with the dress. And I wouldn't be caught dead in colors like that. Sometimes we all have, straight guys have their gay moments, because it'd be like, I wouldn't be caught dead in that. Damn. Hot or not. Who wore it? Who wore it better? Anyway. But I want to talk about... what do I want to talk about next? I want you to hear this ad. Now, I took this from the Ben Shapiro show. Ben Shapiro is another guy I listen to. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of internet television. And I try to get all sides. And Ben Shapiro is one of my go-to guys for certain things. He's very unusual because he's proclaimed conservative. He has a lot of liberal values, though, number one. And number two, he called himself a never-Trumper, I guess, which is a guy who is conservative. Republican will not vote for Trump. And I maybe he saw things the way I was seeing them. Trump doesn't strike me as a Republican. We'll talk about Trump at some point down the road. I think that might be in 2 episodes. We'll talk about that, the Trump conundrum. But I never saw Trump as a Republican. He's a liberal. He's a New York liberal. And also he is apolitical. A lot of people don't understand that, and they don't get it. They refuse to believe that because they want to believe that he's the ultimate enemy. This is the social justice warriors. Another topic in the future. They want to believe that he's the enemy. He must be vanquished or whatever. But Trump is apolitical. He is apolitical. He could give a rat's ass about what goes on around the world. He just likes the idea of being president, as I would, as anyone I know would. Get to sit in the White House, a dump by his own words, and say, yeah, I'm the fucking president, just like Belzer in Groove 2. Anyway, I want you to listen to this ad. This is from his episode 433, and he's doing an ad for a product called Man Crate. Man Crate. And the ad is very important because he I guess his show subsists on ad revenue. So he has to do ads. He has to do ad reads, and he's doing an ad read for this product, and he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. All you have to do is listen to his voice, and you can tell he has no idea what any of this stuff is. Just to give you a little background, ManCrate is a website where you can purchase things. Now, this is their philosophy, their mission statement, if you will. I'll read this for you first before I play the clip. We believe men deserve better gifts, gifts that stir a primal craze of chest bumps and cheers, not polite half smiles. We believe gifts should be just as exciting to give as they are to receive. The gifts of water cooler legend. We are ManCrates, and we do awesome gifts for men. Wooden crates, ammo cans, jerky grams, project kits, whiskey, jerky, beef jerky. That's another thing. I mean, like, you're not a man unless you're eating beef jerky. The thing, I don't really keep beef jerky around the house. Just saying. I mean, like, if it's there, I'll have one. Maybe I'll have a piece. I don't know, but I don't think. Oh, I gotta rush out to the store and get some beef jerky. Jack Links, baby. Anyway, listen to this ad, and then I'll talk a little bit about it when we come back.
I want to say thank you to our sponsor over at ManCrates. So this is one of my favorite sponsors, mancrates.com. It is the best gift that you can get for any man in your family. It's great for dads, it's great for sons, it's great for husbands. It's great for any man in your family who really is into anything from whiskey appreciation to grill master to sports stuff. Here's what it is. It's a special, basically, gift package that comes in either an ammo crate or in an actual wooden crate with an engraved pry thing, with an engraved crowbar. God, I'm out of it today. With an engraved crowbar, and you can actually pry open the crate yourself. It's super ennobling. It makes you feel like a man. It feels like you're King Arthur pulling the sword out of the stone, but instead you're actually pulling a crate of whiskey out, which is pretty amazing. They cover over 100 hand-curated gift collections for every type of guy, from the rugged outdoorsman to the sports fanatic, everything in between. As I said last time, I got an entire set of poker chips from ManCrates. I immediately gave them to one of my friends who will actually use it, because I think I will only end up playing poker at his house. But it makes a fantastic gift, and it's hilarious, it's fun, it's something that your loved one will get a kick out of. It's great for Christmas or Hanukkah. Or any other special event. They have thousands of 5-star reviews. Every ManCrate comes with a high 5 guarantee. And again, I get such a kick out of these. I really do get a kick out of these gifts. They're really fun. Go over to mancrates.com right now. Check it out. It'll solve all of your gift-giving needs.
Okay. Now, Ben Shapiro is, I believe he went to Harvard, studied law. He became a political commentator. He's very wealthy, but probably not by his own design, probably more by his wife's, because his wife is a doctor. And he's one of these people that has a plan for his life and a plan for his children. I think he has 3 children now. He's a young man. He's about 33. So he hasn't yet acquired the wisdom, but I don't think I acquired any wisdom as a man until I hit my 40s and my daughter was growing up, and I saw, wait a minute, some things are more important than others. Some kind of comfort, some kind of happiness, that's great, but again, it's fleeting. It can be taken away from you in a moment's notice. I never looked at cars and said, yes, that's where I want to go. Most, if not all of my friends, maybe 1 or 2 stragglers, are completely obsessed with cars. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. Maybe because I'm a New Yorker, but a lot of my friends are New Yorkers too, so they're all crazy about cars. The thing is, to me, a car is a burden. It's not a joy. It's a burden. It's a bill. It's insurance. It's gas. It's keeping it to spec. It's keeping it registered and all that. License plates. You got to worry about theft. You got to worry about all this stuff. It's a burden. It's a physical burden when you get a flat on the road. It's a mental burden when you have to worry about its care, and it's a financial burden because it is, as go the tides, go the cost of fuel. So one day you're paying $3 a gallon for gas, the next you're paying $6. So it's an adjustable market designed to empty you of the money in your wallet to liberate the money from it. As for whiskey, I don't really get whiskey. I don't understand whiskey. I'll have a shot once in a while, but it's really tough. It's really tough to drink it. And then what else? The guns. Guns, I could reserve a whole day of discussion for guns, but I do believe that most people, they want to believe that they own guns because they're protecting their rights or something like that. A lot of people I say, why do you own a gun? I'm protecting my right to have a gun, and I'm availing myself of that. I've always been of the opinion that if you buy a gun, it's because you think people are trying to kill you. And if you think people are trying to kill you, you might be paranoid and you might be a sociopath. And really, I don't know if you want to be near a person who has a gun who feels that way. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. To me, a real man doesn't carry a gun. A real man doesn't need a gun. So what does that mean? What does that tell you? That tells you at least 60% of the population are only pretending to be men. Or they think, who needs courage when you can have a gun? To quote Futurama. So Ben doesn't know anything about this. This is not his world. He did not grow up in this world. He is a neurotic, obviously. He has some crazy ideas. A lot of stuff I believe or agree with him on. But a lot of other stuff I don't. He speaks with such certainty, and you can't have that kind of certainty at 33. You just can't. Some people go their whole lives without that kind of wisdom, that kind of certainty about how life actually is. Circumstances could change for any of us overnight. And he's all about security because he's wealthy. And he's wealthy because his wife works. And he comes out and he's one of these people who says women should, really consider being baby makers or something like that. I believe that a woman or a man should do what they feel is right, not be swayed by other opinions. Those are people just trying to tell you how to run your life. And he rails against liberal politics. He rails against it. But in his own purview, the way he practices, he would prefer to run your life. They all want to run your life. That's all it comes down to. That's not manly either. That's cowardly. That's stupid. It's short-sighted. It's pseudo-intellectual. But I tend to agree with Ben on a lot of other issues. So, the death of men. Men are, I think that men have always had the capacity for love, for compassion, for understanding. But what is happening now is the castration of a man, taking away his natural defenses, taking away his ability to defend himself by making everything that he is, everything that he believes in, blasphemous to the feminist dogma. And the women are coming out in arms. And what are the women doing, ironically? The women are attacking the men. They're being aggressive. They're being dominant. They're being the characteristics that men once were. There's still a lot of them out there, though. That's great. But don't let anyone ever tell you that you have to be into cars, you have to be into sports, you have to be into, pornography, you have to be into hunting, you have to be into guns, you have to be into whiskey, hard whiskey, to be a man. It's simply not true. Be yourself. Okay? Just be yourself. That's all you have to do. And I want to thank you for listening to my manly podcast. Have a good night.